Welcome to Joe's Astrology, and this is the birth chart for Vanessa Trump, Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump's son's ex-wife. And I read just a little bit about this situation. I guess they were married for a while, 5 kids, and we see the South Node at 12 degrees here conjunct the moon in Aries. So where she's coming from, we can look at the South Node. We can look and see that there's moon there. This is a person coming into life that's going to want a familial relationship early in life. You're going to want to have children. With Aries there, they're going to be very upfront about it, perhaps assertive about it. And we see that coming into life, attracting a person who can provide that for her fairly quickly with no questions asked, no real figuring out, etc. Just that's what you want. Let's make it happen. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of time. And we see that with her, with that South Node moon in Aries. And then we can even look at this Mars is in Leo, making a trine back to that moon. So we're seeing more of that assertiveness towards this idea of having children. Leo, the sign of children and romance. And we don't have the birth time for her, so there's no rising here. We just have the planets and aspects here, and we can look at her sun. Her sun is also in Sagittarius, so she has a grand trine in fire between this Sun, Venus, Neptune, and then the Mars and Moon. So there's a lot of activity around, a lot of activity in support of this South Node and Moon. Obviously she's a beautiful woman. We have the fire sign, we have the Venus-Sun conjunction, and it's in Leo. She has the Leo aspects, she has the Aries aspects. She has a nice Venus-Neptune conjunction as well to back all that up. Venus is the co-ruler of Pisces with Neptune and is often associated with romance and we could say fantasy and romantic fantasy. So everything early in life is really looking good for this family, and we could even throw in the Jupiter in Cancer where it's exalted. Everyone knows that Cancer is the sign is often associated with family and nurturing and motherhood. So very good fortune when it comes to that. We see the five children, Jupiter in Cancer. There's more here. We could say that Jupiter is, well, let's get into the future now, more of where she is now. We see the North Node, where she's headed. It's in Libra. And Pluto's there. And when Pluto's on the North Node, despite the moon being on the South Node, we're looking at the North Node taking over. And so if you're looking to maybe see that this person is having problems in the marriage, etc., they can work them out, etc., and maybe move back into that South Node. Not necessarily the case, more likely not the case for this person with Pluto on the North Node and in opposition to that moon. So you can look at it in the sense that it's in opposition to everything that she stood for in the early parts of her life. We're looking at Libra here. We're looking at a person who wants to be more flexible when it comes to relationships, maybe flirt and date more, whereas Aries is not as much like that. I'm not saying that it can't be, but specifically looking at this chart, I think that is what we're looking at here. You can see the ruler is Venus, and that Venus, which early on could be in support of that moon being a trine, as I said, and everything else that I said. But in looking at this North Node, the ruler, with it being Venus being the ruler of that north node. We could also look at it conjunct Neptune, that it is going to have an imagination. What about something else? What else could I be missing in my life when it comes to romantic relationships? Maybe it's in Sagittarius. You could consider that very changeable, an exploration sign, like that maybe sometime in the life that there's an urge to explore other relationships or other ways of being in relationships. We can see that there's a square to the nodes with that Jupiter. That Jupiter that's retrograde, moving towards, since it's retrograde, it's moving towards Gemini, and it's because it's at 1 degree. If we're looking at it moving towards Gemini, we could say that it's going to progress. In fact, if we look at a progress chart, it may have progressed into Gemini, which would be fundamentally different from Jupiter in Cancer. And then we can look at the square. We can see this idea that there's with this Jupiter involved, there's a back and forth between these nodes trying to figure out some type of balance. And could be a real need to resolve this south node here, and what's going on with her, what has gone on in the past, this past relationship with Trump, and certainly by going into the polarity and dating other people, she will learn about the emotional dynamics of her past by doing that. So this is something, looking at this chart, that I would say was necessary in order for her personal journey to continue, even without knowing her. If I spoke to her in an astrology reading, all of this, more likely than not, would be revealed by her and not so much by me. And the chart would correspond accordingly. So, thanks for watching, and have a great day.